no way that the Nets win this.
How many times are you going to fuck Chris Paul just because he's the leader of the Players Association?
But I think it was a culmination, obviously.
It's like watching Kevin Durant get absolutely bodied by PJ Tucker time and again.
I'm here to watch you. I'm not here to see you, the quartet.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Please Dunk Responsibly. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Rice. With me, as always, my co-host,
Phil Webster. Yeah, we're back, baby.
Oh, yeah, we were here to recap the first round of the playoffs, but then life got in the way. We are very much like the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, there could be three of us and we could dominate this thing, but then if two of us go out, who's going to do the heavy lifting? None of us can do it alone. There's only two of us, though, so if we lose one, we lose both. That's just how it works in this podcast game. I mean, I could talk for an hour about basketball alone, but would anybody want that? I wouldn't want that. It's like watching Kevin Durant get absolutely bodied by PJ Tucker time and again.
It's like watching Durant just do shoot around. Is it interesting? Sure. Is it better than watching him having to play like other real basketball players? That's a little bit better. So yeah, us going together. It's just a little bit more entertaining, I feel.
Yeah, and also Kevin Durant going alone, you're just like watching him like, man, when Kevin Durant retires, he's going to get his ass kicked a lot if he keeps this up.
Yeah, he is. There's a lot of reasons why he'll just never be a favorite, but I feel like he's okay with it 1 second, and then the next second he just cares too much what other people think. So, yeah.
What a mess. The point is, we were supposed to be here every week. Recapping these playoffs, at least at the end of the rounds, but life finds a way to ruin our ability to have a schedule that meets both of our needs.
To meet for an hour and a half or so every week or so. But yeah, we're trying. We're trying. The NBA playoffs have been great.
Yeah.
It's been some compelling series. The Clippers went to 7 again with Doncic and Dallas, but Dallas couldn't get over the hump. Playoff P, as he continues to call himself, caught fire. And it seems like they just like playing from behind because they are down in this series to Utah after 2. Now they did play 2 close games, relatively close games, but in the first 2 in Utah, but couldn't get it done in those. And then they did win their first game, so now it's 2-1. They play tonight as we were recording, but they are down in the series. Do you think the Clippers tie this thing up?
You know what? The more I think about it, the more I think that Kawhi thrives on drama. He needs to create his own. He's like, look, we got to go down in the series. We got to come back. I need my Game 7. Like, my only way to build a reputation is to be a Game 7 stud. The only way to do that is to get to Game 7. So I'm going to coast until I need to put it on. I think that's who he is now. I think he's just like, look.
Yes, a little bit. Like he didn't have a great game again yet, but I think this is. I mean, I hate to keep doing this with LeBron and whoever, but it's like who needs. It's just the comparisons where it's like. He does so much more and things that guys can get away with that LeBron couldn't. Just shows us again the hypocrisy of it all. Yeah. It looks like Paul George has something to prove. I don't know how much he gets other guys to play better. Like again, maybe that's what they're after with him and Kawhi, is that they're just saying like, hey, you guys are the guys down the stretch.
Yeah.
And nobody else is getting the ball between you guys unless literally you both are getting double teamed, which is what I would just do. I'm making Paul George beat me. Yeah. I am not letting
Kawhi do it.
I am not letting Kawhi do it. Yeah, because Kawhi is just too much more comfortable. Paul George is way less clutch just historically.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that dude, he's a good front runner. When they're up 5, he can put them up 12 real quick with 2 big threes and maybe a layup. But when he needs to hit a shot, he's not been the greatest at doing so
No.
when it comes on to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an ideal second fiddle. Third fiddle would be excellent. Just the background fiddle, if you want to call it that, just stick him back there. But if you make him carry the show, you're like, hey, man, maybe fiddles aren't what we need right now.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to call, like, he's not Kevin Love, right? And again, they're two different players. He's way more accurate and athletic, but he just, again, doesn't do a lot of the little things that he claimed that he does. Like, he's going to be a stopper, and he doesn't stay on one guy at all. Like, yeah. And they both get scored on, him and Kawhi. It doesn't really matter who. And again, I think it's partly because they just don't have a third option offensively, losing Lou Williams in Atlanta to Atlanta, and some of their role players who really like Montrezl Harrell, who like had like really deep rebounds and stuff like that for him. Putbacks got like 10 and 12. Like he was the guy that they need, and they don't really have those guys now. They're just kind of holding on to Zubac and stuff like that. But he's not used to playing that often. They're just it's gonna be again be interesting. I think Utah puts them away. Utah's missing like Gobert has not played great. I think it's time for him to play great.
I think he's played great.
I feel like they missed the inside. Like, I don't think he's been as dominant as he can be inside.
I think at the end of games, he's been there. At the end of the game, he's been there where they need him, but he's setting screens. He's rolling where he needs to. He's taking away a defender to give everybody their threes. Ingles was missing a lot early on. I've been watching. I'm like, I feel like Gobert's like kind of earning this MVP talk. The way that he like sets screens and really helps like.
He does, yeah. He was really good. Like, I mean, again, like
I'm not really a Gobert fan, but this year's like, hey, I think
neither am I.
Might have something.
I am not a Gobert fan, but I've been trying to see his value, like defensively, and it seemed like there's just a lot of getting to the hole, like that I was like kind of surprised by. And I get like you can't be there forever. You got to pick your spots, but it didn't seem like he, at least in game 3 for sure, like he kind of just let them have whatever they wanted. And then it just got Paul George and those guys going, which kind of like let them just kind of like get back in the series. Now, again, you're going to give them one at home, but I feel like tonight you got to start knocking some heads around. People can't just go to the hole. You gotta like put some bodies on them. Like, play those Euro guys. They know how to play physical, and they know old school basketball like we like. So I'm hoping Ingles and Bogdanovich, yeah, he gets in there and they start like these are big body dudes. Oh, man. Like they can put some muscle on them.
Watching Bogdanovich play Kawhi has been a lot of fun. I didn't expect that to be even competitive, but it's been super fun to watch that. Watching DeAndre Ayton go against Nikola Jokic, that was fun. Well, it lasted.
Oh yeah, like Ayton is thin, but he knows how to use his body. He's way more athletic than I knew. I only seen him in a couple games. Obviously, you don't see the Phoenix Suns that often. But
now
he is way more athletic than I gave him credit for, and he made Jokic be honest, like which I think affected him offensively. Plus, obviously, when you get into the later rounds like that, he needed his guy who's hurt, Jamal Murray. He needed him, and that's what you were gonna like. We saw in the bubble last season, him and Donovan Mitchell just drove 50 for 50, like back to back games. Like, it was insane. So they definitely need him to come back to really advance. Like, I wasn't so surprised that they made it to the next round. Like, Jokic is really, really good, and I'm glad he got to show it off for one round. But yeah, like with these two, with these teams with multiple superstars, you're just gonna get outplayed. Like Chris Paul he was just a matchup nightmare for them. Like, cause again, like he gets to the middle, he gets to that mid-range 8-foot shot that he just patented. And it's like, if he misses, it's just because of him. You're not going to get any hand on it. And if you jump, he's throwing it out to a guy for free, 2 points. Like, it's not fair.
Yeah, this has been an incredible playoffs. I've enjoyed pretty much every matchup. Right now, it's Hawks v 76ers as we're talking. This one I find not at all compelling. I feel like the Sixers are a really boring team to watch, and they're making the young Hawks look boring also by being involved.
Yes. I was really excited for the Hawks here. I like the flash. I like what they're able to do. But yeah, they grind this thing to a halt, and it's really messy. And then I guess maybe that's what you're after if you want to muck it up. Like, I mean, that's what Philly wants to do. But it's like, I can't see them beating the Nets. Like, right? I couldn't see them beating the Bucks. Like, the Bucks will play ugly with them, and then they're just equally as big, if not bigger, and more athletic. So, Philly loses if they do beat Atlanta, which I think I have them, unfortunately. Like, if I'm thinking with my heart, I want Atlanta. But I think no matter what, if it's going to be the Bucks or Nets coming out of the East, and the Hawks are a year away at least. Like they're a good story, but I think they're a year away.
Yeah, like the 76ers have the best defense in the NBA. When you look at it, just a bunch of top level defenders. But Christ, their offense is boring. Jesus, it's unwatchable. And so all these other teams, they've got great offenses. They're fun to watch. They counter against strong defenses. Like watching the Suns play against the Nuggets and against their previous opponents, who I've already forgotten, because if you lose, you don't need to be remembered.
No, we don't do the gone fishing on
here. Like just the way that they force you to make a mistake and then make you pay is so much fun. And I think that most teams that are in the playoffs right now can do that. They can take your great defense and make you make a mistake and make you pay. There's a reason that like the Clippers might come back against the Jazz, who are by rating the best defense in the NBA. And they have great defenders too, but like you can watch Kawhi poke and prod and he'll find his spot and he'll get to his spot and he'll get a shot in. So I think the 76ers with their terrible, unwatchable offense just don't have a chance to advance, because everybody that's left can pick apart their great defense enough to win.
Right. No, right. Yes, exactly. And they just offensively, they aren't, they're just not dominant enough on offense to really blow anybody away. And they're not dominant enough on defense. And it's, again, like, it is what they are. They're just old school. They're just an old school team, but I feel like they're just, you trust the process thing, but I feel like they're doing so that NBA's evolved so much that it's like, you're a good team, but you're not going to ever be really good enough. Like, you're just, like, if you were in the West, they'd probably be a 7 seed, like a 7 or 8 seed. They're not like really tearing it up. So, I think I got again still the Bucks and everything coming out here, but we also are a beer podcast.
We do basketball and beer.
So what are we drinking, sir?
Oh, well, today we're back to drinking the same beer as each other. Sometimes we'll go a little bit off on that, but today we're drinking a beautiful collaboration. Tilted Mash just had their 5th anniversary, so they put out some anniversary beers. We've got the Picture Me Rollin' Triple Hazy IPA collaboration with Flatland Brewing. You know them, you love them. And Sam Blackmon,
yes, we do.
Homebrewer Extraordinaire, 10.75% West Coast Hazy IPA. I think it's a combination of the both, if you ask me. Mosaic, Simcoe, Idaho 7 Strata hops. This beer is dangerous.
It is crazy juicy, doesn't taste very boozy.
Yeah.
It is definitely brewed properly. It has all the gray hops that I like. I don't particularly care for Strata that much. For me, it comes off like Fruit Loopy, very like fake tropical fruit flavor. Even though it's not, that's what it gives off to me. But in this one, with Simcoe and Mosaic kind of overpowering that, like it kind of keeps it in a more natural, juicy flavor, and then Strata kind of just adds like a little bit more, and it doesn't like overpower it. I usually definitely kind of stay away from the Strata single hop beers, but this one is really, really good. Hats off to Jonathan. To all of them for their anniversary, still rolling, and good for them. This beer is on top, and it's great. It's as good as any triple out there if you can get a hold of it.
If you handed this to me and didn't tell me anything about it, and I looked at it and I took a sniff and I took a sip, I think this is like a light IPA, like a 5.6, 5.8, and it's nearly 11. This is a dangerous beer. It's nuts.
It's really,
you must tell people what you're handing them when you drink this beer.
Yes. Yeah. A 4-pack is very dangerous to drink by alone. Do not drink this alone. That's the problem. Like this one will be like, yeah, you're fine, until it whoops you. If we had to compare this beer to a player, it's sneaky. It's powerful. Yeah.
And it's Picture Me Rolling, one of the best to ever do it, Tupac Shakur. So we're looking at somebody who's the best to ever do it, sneaky. We're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Yeah, I think, I'm definitely in the playoffs. I would definitely, I think we were just talking about this earlier. I'd have to say this beer is an up and comer. Like been in the game for a little while, but is an up and comer. And I'd have to say probably Booker, like Devin Booker. For me, he's finally getting his due. I think obviously Chris Paul's has a lot to do with it, so he's not going to get a ton of shine. Because he's just really an offensive player. But good Lord, did we have this? I don't think we had them obviously being where they were, but I'm pretty sure we called them in the playoffs, and we had them in the playoffs, and we knew that Booker was going to be able to go crazy because he wasn't going to have the responsibility of facilitating on top of everything else. And as much as that is a good aspect for him and it's a good learning, now he's just going to learn even more from Chris Paul in like the next 2 years that he's going to be with him. I'm almost positive they're going to restructure his contract. I know he has a player option for $44 million, which I'm assuming he's going to. Yeah, they're good. They might actually ask for more, but I would assume they'll just divert it. I'm assuming he'll tear it up and he'll get some 3-year, $60 million deal or something like that.
Just to keep Chris around for a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, like he's too close not to do it. And again, it'll put you in a position. He's going to
get that money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then you got to pay Booker too. So it's like, you got to make it friendly, and I'm sure Chris Paul would like to end his career somewhere like this, where he's going to have at least 3 or 4 shots at doing something big with a very young team that's only going to get better. So Devin Booker for me in this beer, but good Lord, man.
And it is final. It's now 2-2. The Atlantic Hawks have defeated the 76ers.
Breaking news.
100. Breaking news. We broke the news. All right.
We broke the news, even though you'll hear this tomorrow. The day after, and already know all these things. It will. It's these are good playoffs. They're good matchups. Again, these aren't like there's a couple teams we don't like, obviously, but I think for the most part, these have been very competitive playoffs, and it's nice to get some new blood in there.
Yeah, I could have watched Nuggets Suns go 12 games, 13 games, but unfortunately, over in 4, not a big deal.
They probably would have started punching each other. Like,
I love
at
it.
That point.
Look,
Jokic wins MVP. Very deserving. Like we talked about it earlier, I thought he had it going away, especially when Murray got hurt, that there was no way he was going to like not get it. for carrying them and getting them really to a high, almost a higher seed. To like the third seed, right? Yeah. So like carrying them to the third seed without Murray and doing all that. It's just matchups. Again, like when you have to play a team 3 or 4 times in a row, they're going to expose you. They're going to figure out ways to get you out of position of doing things. It's going to be, it's going to make it a lot harder. But, Jokic, gets ejected, gets frustrated. He knows his team is going to lose. He's given maximum effort. He takes a swipe at Chris Payne, right? Or
Campaign.
Cameron Payne. And then I don't know. Again, it's very actually curious to see how split people are, even though that's America, how everything is right now, is that a lot of players thought he should not have been ejected for what he did. I've seen the play a couple times in slow motion. To me, it seemed like any other play, obviously, but I think they're trying to throw in the gravitas that it's Jokic and that you don't throw out the
They're
MVP.
getting real eager to throw these flagrant twos out there. Just watching the games, there's 2 or 3 times a game. They're like, maybe this is a flagrant. It's the playoffs, man. You don't give up easy points. That's how it works. You want every possession matters. Like when he did that, they were only down 6. It's not like they were doomed. They weren't playing well.
No.
And they probably weren't going to win, but I don't get
Yeah, but I think it was a culmination, obviously.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a culmination. I think they were still in single-digit deficit, but you could tell it was a culmination of the series. Like he could just see where it was going. He was getting frustrated offensively, and nobody else was able to hit a shot.
Yeah,
and
he put up that 30, 20, 10 the day before, and was rewarded with nothing. Nothing. You get nothing.
And then nobody even talked about it.
I know. I did. I was like, I just want to see him in this game, get this last rebound, get this last assist. He's like, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll get 2 rebounds and 1 assist and another basket in that last minute 10. How about that? Just to really seal how great I am, because this is the last you're going to see of me. Jokic deserved that MVP. I don't know why there's a dispute. He was clearly the MVP.
Yes.
And he did hit. It's that Euro player thing. I think they're just not used to as long a season as the NBA is, because you could watch Jokic just lose all his energy. That fourth quarter of Game 3, he was burned. He was like, I just need to get these rebounds, get these points. Yes. And then Game 4, he was just like, I'm trying, man, but that's it. But even last series, Doncic, you could see it at the end of the fourth quarter of Game 6 that he had used up everything.
Yes, exactly. And again, that's how the Clippers kind of played it, is just they were just going to be like, he is beating us at and so he's going to get his 30, but we're going to make it the hardest 30 plus. And so, at the end, he had nothing left. Hardaway couldn't hit a shot down the stretch in Game 6 or Game 7, really, to alleviate some of that for him. He needed help, and he just didn't get any. Yeah. I'm not putting that on Doncic. Yeah. Everybody knows, he's an up-and-comer, and he does everything right. He gets everybody involved. But and I don't even want to put it necessarily on Porzingis, because I think, they're still trying to figure each other out and where he needs to be. But he was very aggressive in that series. I mean, they went 7 games. I think they just needed – they needed those big shots from those guys to hit threes to stave the tide, and they just couldn't get it. And then Paul George again, would just get hot. They'd be up 3, 4. Paul George hits a big 3 or gets a rebound and an offensive rebound and puts it back. And then now you're up 6 or 7, and then they just couldn't. And then Doncic would get him back in it, but it was just he didn't have enough to get him over the top.
So you said don't blame Porzingis. A lot of people are blaming Porzingis. Why do you think he doesn't deserve blame?
I think it's Hardaway.
You think it's Hardaway?
I think it's Hardaway. I think Porzingis, because of his injury history, and they knew what they were getting when they took a chance on him, is that I feel like they just haven't had enough playing time together. And I feel like being the guy that he is, and they have all these shooters, I felt like he was aggressive when he had the ball, but I feel like he's still feeling out when does he take it? Does he is Is he there for rebounding when, because it's just hard for him to like get under the basket when Doncic is going, and like a lot of them are just kind of standing around because they're just watching him. Like they're just watching Doncic turn into this like amazing player, and it's like you don't really see him playing aggressive until he's like on the second team without Doncic, but they couldn't really play without him. Like nobody could really again get going when he wasn't out on the floor. And so they need a backup point guard, clearly, like somebody who could facilitate.
Sounds like to
that
me
is.
They are not a fit. How about that?
No.
Has anybody
maybe
had more promise in the first year and a half and never lived up to it than Kristaps Porzingis? Am I stretching? Oh, for sure. Am I really giving a reach? You know it. Is Kristaps Porzingis what Greg Oden would be if his legs didn't give up on him? If they had just been bad legs, not the worst legs in human history? Would they be the same? No, I'm sorry. DeAndre Ayton is Greg Oden with
a 7-footer should not be running like the court for 17 like million miles. Like they're always, their feet are going to give out, their ankles are going to give out. Like unless you're Greg Ostertag and all you do is just stay on one half of the court. If you have to do offensive and defensive, like it's like more times than not you see these guys, they just break down. But I think again Porzingis is good without. They're just not great together. Great together.
So what are you supposed to do?
But
how do you?
So I feel like you need a better point guard. You need somebody who can create his own shot in the second team, so Porzingis can get it, or so Doncic can get a rest. If I was like, I don't know if that's a Rondo. I don't know if that's Lou Williams, but I feel like he's going to stay in Atlanta.
I would love a Lou Williams, Kristaps Porzingis combo. That would be fun.
I feel like he just like Doncic needs somebody to help facilitate and somebody who can score a little bit. Rondo's getting up there, so I don't know, but it's like he seems like he's going to just change the team every year, so you have a good chance. But Lou Williams, I feel like may have found a home in Atlanta, and that's where he's from.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking earlier.
They're young, they can afford him.
Yeah,
like
he wants to be there. They've got a future coming up.
Hometown discount. Why not stay? Like, you get to be, the presumptive like best point guard and young point guard in the league. You get to be his backup, and then when he's resting, you just get to go out and go crazy. Like, yeah.
So if we're gonna make
update in the Utah game, Utah Clippers, it's Clippers 10, Utah 2.
Those things change. The playoffs are madness. The beginning doesn't mean anything. I've watched
teams
go
obviously not
1,000,000-3 and lose.
Yes.
If we were going to put Kristaps Porzingis as a beer, what would you make?
There we go, Bear. Anyway, sorry. Kristaps Porzingis as a beer. Ooh. Yes. I think this is where we're going to be you're going to come out with. Oh, we're about to have a fight for sure. Like this is. Who knew we were going to draw the line on this one? For me, even though he is a power forward, I would say he's a Czech Pilsner for me.
Keeping it Euro.
All light, crisp. He has a feathery touch, but he's again like he's not going to take over a game like that guy. He's not going to be that. He's not going to be the unicorn like Durant. Like, again, that's a freak of nature. Nobody's 7 feet tall and like have knee ligaments that don't snap. Like there's no way anybody's doing the kind of stuff Durant does. So, I'm going to say Pivo Pills. Or no, not Pivo Pills. Yeah, I actually like Pivo Pills. But yeah, good. maybe in that realm. Okay. Yeah. I like it.
I'm gonna call him a high water. Shit, I had it and it's gone. What's that s'mores?
Is it the stout?
Oh, campfire stout. You're right. The high water campfire stout. Because when you first see it, you're like, oh my God, you can put a s'mores taste into a beer? This is incredible. I've never had anything like this. This is a true unicorn of beer we're talking about. And then you
then
get
everybody
on tap,
does it.
It's even better when you see it live and in person. This is crazy. And then eventually pastry stouts come along and you're like, oh, that was a thing that people were excited about 8 years ago. When you go back,
It's one of the better like regular stouts you can get, but it gets old, just like anything. How many times can you have it? How many times can you have it?
Exactly. Like, but when you come back,
you had it
this is.
You had it like 4 times in the winter, and you're like, dude, this is so good. And then you bought another one, and you shared with your friends, all the friends who hadn't had it. Oh, you got to try it. And then by the 4th time you had it, you're just like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, but that 3rd time, you're like, yeah, I'll pay 144 million for this for sure. Yeah, not a problem. Oh no!
Yeah, you're like, everybody's gonna love this.
Yeah,
I'll keep giving it to everybody I know, and then you're like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah, we're in the major market here. We got to dump it. But it's still.
Hey, I would take if they want to trade him to the Kings. I'll happily take him.
For sure.
I would happily take him.
For sure. And you know who's backup is?
He's not going to be again your guy.
Is Willie Cauley-Stein, former Sacramento King.
Oh God.
Oh man, that is a rough watch.
He's not shown how he's not. Did he not take the guess that how bad he is? Like he thought, I'm going to the Warriors. I'm going to take over. This is going to be great. I'm leaving because I'm going to get real money. And he's done nothing but got like veteran minimums like everywhere he's gone so far and not started. When he could have stayed with the Kings and probably started. He probably would have been.
He wouldn't have earned. He wouldn't deserve to start, but he would start because we drafted him.
But he would have,
and we just keep being terrible because
he would have had carte blanche. Yeah, because he hasn't picked a side. He won't just be a defensive guy. He's like Nerlens Noel.
He still wants to be this athlete.
You're going to play in the league for 12 years. But you're never picking a side to just be sensational at.
Yeah, you're not an out of this world dunker. You cannot jump from 5 feet behind the free throw line and dunk it. I know you want to. I know you think you can. You can't, especially in gameplay.
That's what trained the All-Star game is what changed Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was one of the most opposing defensive guys in the league. Forever. And then somebody said, oh, you should put that guy in the dunk contest. And then he was never the same. Never the same after that. He wanted to be the guy. And then he needed to be when he was in a perfect system where all he had to do was rebound and play defense. And he got defensive player of the year and probably 20 points. What in the world are you thinking?
Here's how limited he is offensively. He hired Patrick Ewing to teach him how to play in the post, and Hakeem Olajuwon, and he learned nothing because he literally couldn't do it. So being a rim runner, there's nothing wrong with being a rim runner.
Just do what you do. Yeah.
Run rim to rim.
You won back-to-back defensive player of the year. That's why it's defensive player of the year. As much as I absolutely love that is an award. It just doesn't say much for a true player, for a true defensive player, because it's you could be a defensive stalwart for 2 really good years and then just be and then you're just mediocre after that.
As soon as you lose a step, you're done. Half a step, you're done. It's toast.
Yeah, it's not like a Gold Glove in baseball or something like that where you have to earn it, and then some of it's offensive related and stuff like that, and how much you affect a team. It doesn't happen that way. Giannis did for the last couple times, just because it's he's clearly the most athletic person on the Bucks, but clearly, we've been talking about it, it's Middleton's the MVP on that team.
Every
the offensive.
Time. You can't even watch a game without realizing it. I don't know how he's not.
That guy can. Yeah. He got violated for free throws. We're talking about he can't even shoot free throws timely. Middleton is clearly the guy. Obviously Giannis does a lot. They need each other, but Giannis is Giannis needs him more than the other way around to be where they are.
Yeah.
Like, they're just a mediocre team, but they got lucky and landed like a really tall forward, I'm going to call him, that can put the ball on the floor and shoot like lights out. He can hit 4 or 5 shots in a row. And because he's so long and he's 6'10", I think that he plays long. He's great.
Yeah. Oh man, I love him so much. And
I do too.
Sorry, I got rudely interrupted on my end.
So we're then I guess we're on Utah Clippers, or did we do Utah Clippers? No, we have not done Utah Clippers.
We talked about it a little bit as far as, well, not really this series. This one's been fun.
Yeah.
I think we debated whether or not Gobert has value in the series. I feel like he really has shown his value.
Yeah, that's probably where we left off.
A team that really kind of takes away everything that he does, and he's just doing everything he can. Setting screens, rolling to the rim, and in the last 5 minutes, just making himself available in the post as an outlet for passes, just to get it back out and get the offense back flowing. I've really enjoyed watching him in this series. I've loved watching Bogdanović play on Kawhi. I did not know he had it in him to just like go pound for pound with a complete freak of nature.
Again, this is, I mean, I know I'm not going to say you're doing it, but this is that white man illusion that they're just not athletic. And again, these Euro guys are showing us like they might, again, Doncic, all of it. Like everybody wants to say how not fast he is, but he does nothing but get.
Yeah, he burns everybody.
Where to the line, whether it's using his body and he's just like whatever, he's crafty. Like that's what you need. That's still athleticism.
Yeah.
Like, people just want to say like, oh, because he's slow and he's doughy, and he's not chiseled out of stone. That means that he's not athletic, and it's not true.
Yeah,
like, he is obviously clearly is.
There's just this way that people watch sports and what they expect from it, but the fact that he can get to his spots, get open, and hit those shots over and over again is something. I was talking to a comedian, and they told me they don't like John Mulaney because John Mulaney has no stage presence, and I'm like, you're insane. John Mulaney has so much stage presence, but he's so subtle.
I love John. Oh my God, who said that? Get him on here.
Like when you think about it, people think stage presence is like being a big, boisterous, animated character, but he stays in his spot. But are you going to tell me that when he throws that microphone cord over his shoulder as he starts there's a horse in the hospital bit? Are you telling me that that's not a part that brings you into the joke? That is stage presence. It's bringing you in.
That guy.
That is presence.
Yes, John Mulaney is 2 shades, if not 1 shade, from just a theater actor. Like, he can do it all. Like he
got nominated for a Tony.
Like you said, he doesn't have to be boisterous. It's just, if you get to see, what is it? The kid.
The Kid Gorgeous.
Kid Gorgeous.
Live at Radio City Music Hall.
Yes. Oh my God. That is one of the best. It's a stage show. And I usually don't like them when it comes to comedy. I don't want the band behind it and stuff like that. That drives me nuts. Like it's like a magician. It's like you're just taking the eye off the ball. Like, it's like, no, I'm here to watch you. I'm not here to see the quartet. Like, that's cool and all. But the way he used the whole stage, he, like you said, he has a presence. That's a huge stage.
Yeah. And
he just owned it.
Yeah.
That guy is amazing.
He can bring you in to look and release you with emotion. It's like just one hand movement and you're like, oh, I now I'm allowed to laugh because he's made this motion.
Yes.
Like,
and he has that old school suit look. Yeah. But then, like, he says, he curses and he says things
but you think he's
about
clean.
children.
He comes across as clean.
And he's not. And he's not. Oh, he's not. He's not.
Presence for days.
He's no Nate Bargatze, but he does, or Tom Papa, but he has all those elements, but like in a tighter package. And he's killer, and he has he just writes amazing jokes. But that guy, don't tell me that guy doesn't have stage presence. Get the hell out.
I'm still mad about it. It's been months. And I was like, I'm going to bring this up just because of it. But we haven't, what we haven't talked about at all is that Nets Bucks series. What a weird world. I mean, besides the shit talk of Kevin Durant.
That's why I feel like we should leave it to last. It is a weird. It looked 1 second again like, here we go again. Bucks are terrible. They don't play up to
They only
par.
play one way.
They like played them really tough during the regular season, and then they just get smashed in 2 games. Without Harden, Harden still hasn't returned. People don't talk about the severity of the hamstring, but everything seemed to say, like from LeBron and everybody who tweeted when Harden originally got hurt, they made it seem like there was like almost no way he was going to come back. The way they made it seem was like he had like a torn ACL. Like they were not talking about like it was like a hamstring situation.
Yeah.
And then they get to Milwaukee and it's a different team. They keep the Bucks to under 90 and win that game barely, but in Bucks style, very ugly. That's how you muck it up when you got offensive superstars. You just get physical with them. That's what you do, and they were able to do that. And in the second game, Kyrie gets hurt, lands on Giannis's ankle, and kind of rolls it. Now you set up for Game 5 tomorrow, and we don't know
a pivotal Game 5.
But yeah, in Brooklyn with fans, and do you think Kyrie plays? I mean, he was walking out in crutches after he left Milwaukee.
I don't think he does, and I don't know what the Nets do at this point. I really don't.
I don't either. They really put all their chips in those baskets, right? Like that's it.
And
who else do you have? You don't have a Levert. You don't have You don't have a Dinwiddie like who can. Yeah. You don't have these guys because you went out and got these superstars.
And Blake Griffin stopped playing in the third quarter. Nobody kind of slid that one under the radar. Like, what's wrong with Blake?
Well, again, I know that's your boy, but he needs somebody to pass him the ball to get going, right? And that's again not. They don't have a facilitator anymore. No. Their 2 facilitators are hurt, so. Who else is going to do it? Like Durant can't do it all, and he's just trying to keep him afloat. It was really bad because it's again, he knows that he needs to keep him offensively in the game to keep him close, but then he can't make that third pass that needs to be made in order to open it up or get it within 1, and then. He's triple team, can't grab his own rebound. They're going the other way, and they're just outnumbered and so the Bucks again they're too deep. Drew Holiday and is just changed that series for them. Like again, when Kyrie was in, he made it really difficult on Drew, but once they got to the Bucks a stadium, they really clamped down on them. They just were playing super, super physical, and they're going to just make you beat them outside, basically. And they're just going to play you up front and make you like pass the ball around, which again they were able to do because all those guys are long. That's what they gave up. Yep. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. But I think again, if Kyrie doesn't play, there's no way. It's no way that they win, but they could still win the series if he comes back in Game 6 or Game 7. But how good could he possibly be, right? Like,
yeah, that's really what it is. Is that series is so dependent on what happens with Harden and with Irving and Blake Griffin, and honestly, Kevin Durant, his body might not hold up to the stress of having to do all this, so it's just a mess. All right, so we talked about every series. Now we got to do it. We got to call it. Who do we think is winning these things? Let's start where we're at. The toughest one to call because of health, Brooklyn Nets, Milwaukee Bucks. Who takes this series? Knowing what we know now.
Man.
Today,
the toughest one as of today. And by the time we talk, it'll probably be Eastern Conference Finals. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say the Bucks, like just based on the information we know. There's no way that the Nets win this. There's no way. Like again, like we said this with Lakers and the Suns early on. We thought Chris Paul was going to miss multiple games. he didn't. Yep. And so they were able to come back and like handle that series like they did in game 1. But as far as we know right now, nobody's walking through that door for the Nets, and they got to play tomorrow, and they're gonna have Durant and a bunch of basement dwellers besides Blake Griffin. And so we're going to have to see what they have.
The Bucks are going to throw P.J. Tucker and Durant every second on the floor. Yes. If he's in foul trouble, it's like, great, we got Chris Middleton. Oh, he's in foul trouble. Great. We got Giannis. Oh, he's in foul trouble. Great. We got Brook Lopez. Oh, he's in foul trouble. Great. We got Drew Holiday. Like, it's just the wave after wave of this.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah,
it's all long.
Who's hurting us? Joe Harris? Are we really counting on Joe Harris to save the Nets?
No. Yeah, exactly. Make the extra pass. They're going to make anybody. Durant, you can have 30, but it's going to be the hardest 30 you've ever gotten, and
30 on 28 shots.
Somebody else is going to have to beat you. Why we're getting layups and like dunks on the other end. You go ahead and try to get your 30 points.
Enjoy Speedy Claxton's big brother getting a few dunks here and there. Right now, barring coming back from injury or injuries to the Bucks, which is also always a possibility in the playoffs, I think the Bucks win this thing. Then let's go over to Philadelphia versus Atlanta, the 76ers and the Hawks. Who do you got? Tied up at 2-2.
I'm taking the Hawks, the hot Atlanta Hawks. I think they're going to pull it out. I think they're the more exciting team. That's what I want to see.
Oh, it is what I want to see.
Am I right? Sure. Am I wrong? I don't know, but it's definitely what I want to see. But would I be surprised again if they body them up? I think the 76ers have the better coach. But I feel like who's going to maximize them as much as possible. But I think all you need is a hot night, which he still has yet to have.
You only get hot nights
from Trae Young. Yeah, from Trae Young, it could get real. It could get real interesting if he pulls that out. So. Look, I'm taking Atlanta. I don't know about you.
I'm going to call this early. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get bogey versus bogey in these finals. I know you're trying to be like Bogdan versus Bogdan. What are you going to do?
No, bogey. Dude, I love it.
Bojan versus Bogdan. I know what you're doing.
Bogs on Bogs.
Yeah, I see it. But I'm just going to stop you in your tracks. I think the Hawks aren't ready. I don't think they can grind these games out. 2 out of the next 3. I would love to see it. I think it's a year early. I don't think they got it.
I'm not against it. I'm not.
I mean, I respect your opinion, and you're wrong.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, I know what you mean. Like, I do think they're a year away, but the 76ers look like they're a year past their prime. Yeah. So, as much as I love Doc Rivers and what he's doing, he's not making it look easy, and so if he can't make it look easy, I don't think anybody can. The 76ers are the same team they've been the last 2 or 3 years. They're in the playoffs, but they just don't do anything. They don't push the needle. And the Bucks, again, made moves. The Nets obviously went and made moves, and they didn't. They stood pat. They're going to go with their trio of Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Simmons, which again, they're no scrubs. I'm from a Kings fan. They're no scrubs, but they're not offensive enough. They're 90s basketball, and this is not 90s basketball anymore. You just can't get away with that. It's not going to work.
All right, very rare we disagree, but we're going to disagree on this one. Now, how about this one? This one's a tough one. Let's redo it. It's Suns versus Nuggets, but the Nuggets have Jamal Murray, and the Suns don't have Chris Paul. Who wins this series?
Yeah, it's probably the opposite of what just happened. But yeah, no, the Suns look great. They're going to be a hard out for the Jazz or the Clippers. I think they match up better with the Jazz. They're just prototypical, the same teams. The Clippers, obviously, they give people fits. They're doing it right now in this game with the Jazz. Like I said, I have a problem with Gobert not playing defense right now. They're just shooting the lights out. And, I don't know how much of that's his fault, but they're not getting it done defensively right now. And they're just hot. And, again, they could go cold. They could easily go cold. And And it's not just Donovan Mitchell trying to save the Jazz, but it seems like that's all that's happening offensively right now. There's no Jordan Clarkson doing much.
Nope.
Everybody's kind of bricking besides him, and nobody else is getting anybody else involved. And Donovan Mitchell just feels like he has to just shoot their way out of it, and that usually doesn't work well. And so, there's a two-parter, I guess, because we already know the Suns are out. But I'm gonna take. Unfortunately, I think the Clippers right now, even though they're down 2-1 technically, as we're playing the game today, I don't know. The Utah Jazz just hasn't shown anything. I told you they're from Utah, so they need to show me a little bit more that they can get it done. But Phoenix is the team to be in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really think that is the case. The Suns have really put a stranglehold on that. Their defense is so good. They communicate really well. Michael Bridges is making a name for himself. We've even talked about him, and he's been so good. And right now it's 30-13, Clippers over the Jazz. You can't count out Kawhi. That's just kind of how it works, no matter what he's got around him or what's going on. Which leads me to a thing we haven't done in a while. Is it the goose? The dunk of the however, I was going to say first round, but now the second round is pretty much half over. So really, it's just free game. Your dunks since the last time we talked.
Oh, man. What do you think so far? I have a couple, but nothing's been off the pages for me. But I know you got one.
For me, so I really enjoyed Ja Morant's 360 dunk. He also went up and got one on an alley-oop again where they threw it too high for him and a little bit away. He still went up and got it, threw it down. Love watching a little 6'2" guy go get it and slam it. But right now, my favorite thing to watch is Kawhi Leonard clear the runway, snatch a board, snatch a steal, and just make a beeline for the rim, and no defender even wants to step in the way. There's hey, he's coming. I'm just gonna. That's a loss. We're just gonna take the two.
The fearlessness of him is so great. You love to see it. I mean, he's been doing it since he was a rookie, Ja Morant. Just sometimes he just loses the ball because he's just so high and trying to do too much. But the fact that he's doing these things in mid-game just reminds me of a smaller, Tracy McGrady, who's just athletic out of this world. Tracy McGrady was one of my favorite players that just couldn't get it going, but was just an athlete, just amazing athlete for 6'7", 6'8". And Ja Morant is 6'2", I think 6'2", 6'3", but he plays like a 6'8", 6'9" guy. He just jumps out of the gym. He used those tendons in your knee while you have them. Just try to dunk on as many people as you can. I love that guy coming up. I got a couple top shots of his, I'm trying to hold on to just see what happens. I don't know what that means. But man, I have to agree with you. For not seeing a lot of real big throwdowns, he was the highlight so far.
Yeah. I just want the Grizzlies to be so good so soon. They've earned it as a franchise, moving, losing players, gaining players, being made fun of for trading Pau Gasol all those years ago for his chubby brother. And then it ends up being this semi-dynasty, really established who the Grizzlies are as people. I just want to see them really get somewhere. And I really like this core they have. We've talked about it. I really like where they're going.
Yeah.
They're what the Pelicans wish they were.
Yes. There are a lot of teams where they wish they were Kings fans.
The Hawks want to be them.
They draft right. They got lucky. I mean, in a deep draft, they were able to get they were able to get a really good superstar player with a head on his shoulders. And again, he's the quarterback. That's who you want on your franchise. That's going to really elevate you to that next level. And they got a lot of young guys that could play hard that have been in there. And they made it real clear, I think, early on when Iguodala was there and he wasn't going to play and he was just going to sit out until they got traded. And Ja Morant was like, well, we got people who want to play here, so we want to play. don't come. Like, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
And I think that really meant a statement, and it's proven that he's gotten better each and every year. So that guy's a class act. I like him a lot. There's a lot of young players that I'm so happy the NBA is like set up for the future.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be absolutely dope in the next 10 years. Like, it's going to be so good.
Yeah. And we're back to that guard heavy team. I forgot to bring this up. Did you know no center has won MVP before Jokic since 2000? 21
That's
years
crazy. Yeah, since
center.
Shaq.
Yeah, since Shaq in 2000.
Right? Yeah. Unbelievable.
21 years.
That's great. Well, it just shows again the evolution of this of the NBA, and where I feel like, unfortunately, the 76ers are going is just they're just archaic. Like, they don't do enough. Embiid can't shoot enough. Like, he's super powerful and dominant down below, but down the stretch he's just a liability. He's not. He can't make shots that Jokic can make. He can't do turnarounds. He can't stay healthy. Like, there's just too many things with 76ers to call them, like, really other than a fringe playoff team, really, that would be in the West. Like, it's just so everything gets measured in the West, and like, even if them in the East, it's like you're not probably the fourth best team, really. Like, league wise, they are record wise, but again, we're coming off a pandemic year. Things stay the same. Jimmy Butler's probably back with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They're making another run. They're going to get reloaded. Yeah, and get reloaded. It's going to be crazy next season. Everybody, if you're not watching this season of basketball, I don't blame you. But the playoffs have been the best part of it, and I think next year is going to be some really fantastic basketball when people get some rest and people really start making these acquisitions down the stretch to get that third and fourth player that will put them over the top.
Yeah, and prevent the injuries derailing your team. We didn't even mention it. LeBron James lost in the first round. Okay, bye. Nothing else.
Yeah.
For the first
time
ever.
By the way, like, the first time the Warriors, Miami, LeBron James, and the Lakers haven't been in, and San Antonio haven't been in the playoffs this far since 1998.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's insane. It's just insane. So it just shows the dominance again of all of these,
and the weirdness of the year, like, also.
Yeah, and so, but it's also good. It's also
really good,
gives some parity where it makes you feel like my team has a chance if we just get one more player, or get lucky, or get some mid-level. That's where the hope always is with the Suns, and I think a lot of people are rooting for them, is because you're hoping to catch that veteran at the end of his career that can just spark your team with your young guard or whatever and just put you over the top. So,
it's too bad there's no recent examples of that exact thing happening, though. No.
I know. If I only could think of one
time where that happened.
Where? But, yeah, Jesus. I mean, hopefully it happens for somebody.
Yeah. Hopefully it happens for some guy making $40 million a year. It's just that you're like, oh, we should probably force this guy out and trade him. And
player option for $40 million.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Who holds are the cards there? That's pretty much like, give me a 5-year extension, or I just take all the money right now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. But what veterans are really out there that are going to make the difference? I mean, Danny Green's a born winner.
Oladipo. Oladipo, I think, is going to be a free agent. He's probably one of the more attractive ones. Maybe DeMar DeRozan, I think, is also going to be
those
an
guys
attractive
aren't winners.
one.
They both, once they got out, people started winning.
I'm not saying I need a
winner.
They are.
You got to give me a winner. You got to give
Chris
me
Paul's not a winner.
Chris Paul
hadn't won.
Chris Paul's
He's never been in the finals. But we all knew if he was on the right team at the right time, he should be there. If you don't run into a Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or something like that in their prime, healthy, he's probably gone 6 or 7 times. But
here's the real question. Who can pry Udonis Haslem away from the Heat? That's the make or break trade of the year. Who can give him like $2.2 million to play 14 minutes?
Player coach, yeah.
No, I don't know who you're getting that's like a veteran who has.
I don't think it's happening this year or next year, but there are some intriguing free agents where it'll be interesting to see where Oladipo goes, where these guys who are like better than their teams that they've been on have been. Yes, exactly. Like I'm definitely interested in seeing, especially DeMar DeRozan, if you're on the right team, like he could make some things happen. I just don't know where do you send him? If you had to send DeMar DeRozan to one team right now, who does he go to make that team better?
Let me tell you, it's a 2-part move. I would say send DeMar DeRozan to the Indiana Pacers, and here's why. Wait, hold on. No, send DeMar DeRozan to the Portland Trailblazers because I want to trade Sabonis for CJ McCollum straight up. I want Sabonis back in Portland like his papa, and I want to see what him and Dame can do.
So it's a 2-part trade.
Yeah.
So you're saying you want them to get a center
and you want them to
get rid. You want to give them DeRozan, keep Lillard, get rid of McCollum,
and bring in Sabonis.
Interesting.
Let's see what Sabonis can do.
I feel like it's apples for apples.
No.
It doesn't make them. I don't think it makes them better.
No, they have no post presence. Nurkic is fine.
Nurkic is not good. Yeah, Nurkic is fine.
But I'd rather have Sabonis.
I don't know how much Sabonis is going to be better. Like now, he's good on a terrible team.
No, I just want to see.
Like how much is he getting the ball? How much is he getting the ball with Lillard?
Here's the thing.
Not much.
He's a hub that allows Lillard to play off the ball. Imagine Lillard shooting those threes open. Oh my goodness! You telling me him skirting around a screen set by Sabonis?
Are you taking them over Denver?
What's that?
Are you going to take them over Denver?
I don't know, man.
I just think over the Jazz.
I think McCollum has run his course. I think at this point Portland has to.
I agree.
Up. And they have to keep Dame.
I agree.
And it's like their problem has always been the post. Sabonis plays good defense. He's a hound on the boards. He's got interior game. He's got exterior game. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the jumper. He's a solid post player, good passer. He's tougher than he looks. He's got that old man game because his dad's that old man game. I just want to see Sabonis thrive in Portland like he was supposed to in the 80s. Didn't get to do until he was 443 pounds in 1997. I just want to see Sabonis dominate in his youth in Portland.
I do.
And I would like to see CJ McCollum be the guy in Indiana. That would be dope. With him and Miles Turner, I would love that.
See, I think DeMar DeRozan ends up being. I feel like DeMar DeRozan ends up being a Laker somehow.
I feel like it's
some way, somehow, he ends up being a Laker. They trade Kuzma. They just given the Pelicans or something like that to get a point. Like they maybe bring Lonzo back. I don't know, but they do something like that. Get like another point guard, which they clearly need. Mm-hmm. Like Schroeder's not the guy, even though they got him for another couple of years. I think that's just where they go. I think they Caruso's fine.
I love him.
He's not a starter. Yeah, I love him. He's just not a starter. He's not a starter. He's somebody you bring off to be scrappy for 10 minutes a game. Like that's where you need him. He's going to hit a bucket every now and then that you need. But he can't stay consistent because he's a bottle of energy. He goes everywhere. He's scrappy. I love him, of course. Like he's every man's player. He's like, oh dude, if I just had the energy of a rabbit and ran down the court for 60 minutes a game, I'd be on a team too. But I can't do that. Not a lot of people can. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's where DeMar DeRozan heads. I don't like to say it.
Yeah.
It just seems like the more fit. AD obviously can't play as much. He's another liability. LeBron's he's changing his number, so he's gonna be there another 4 years. Yeah, why? Why? And I'm a defender, obviously. Yeah. On this podcast, people know I'm the defender of LeBron James. This makes no sense to me besides a money grab. I have no idea why you switch numbers now in your career. Yeah. Knowing that Davis isn't going to go to 23. like, I get why you were going to do it originally, but they wouldn't let you because of licensing and all that kind of stuff. You couldn't change it immediately. You had to run through it. But to go to 6 now just seems a waste. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless, again, you're planning on playing 6 more years. Like, why?
Which you could.
Where everybody's you played, which he could, which he totally could. He could play until he's 45. He could be Tom Brady.
He could be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he could.
Omar Vizquel.
He could switch up his game, and he just plays like he just gets 12 and 10 a night, and that's all he does.
Yeah.
Atlanta Hawks. Yeah.
There's ways to do it. All right, let's
wrap it up.
We've established who we're going to have in the Western Conference Finals. Who do you think makes the finals at this point, knowing what we know now? And we will be judged accordingly by our rapturous fans.
I would say, short and sweet, as we spend a lot of time on all the teams, if things stay the way they are, it has to be Bucks Suns. I would say, like, and I know the NBA doesn't want that. The NBA is going to probably do their best to get the Clippers in there or something because they can't allow that. But I feel like it's good. It's good for the NBA fans in general. Again, you need to see some parity. You need to know that other people can get it. Like, you have a chance, and you can build a team.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And if the Clippers get the benefit of the doubt from the NBA, and they step in, how many times, NBA, how many times are you going to fuck Chris Paul just because he's the leader of the Players Association? Let him have it. He earned it. You know what I heard? So everybody calls him the point god. I forget who said it, but they called him the PG deity, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
I like that.
I was like, yeah, but it's a deity. Yeah, I'm like, well, it's deity, so I'm kind of
it's deity, but
they're like PG deity. I'm like, hey man, that's pretty good, but I don't pronounce it that way, so I'm kind of upset. But also, I do appreciate that. Chris Paul deserves a championship, and if the NBA pays their refs to do some bullshit, I'm going to be furious. If they lose fair and square, fine. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
But how many times are you going to fuck the leader of the Players Association?
Oh, my God.
Stop it.
Chris Paul.
All right. We've got one more segment we do every time before we get out of here. It's canning trays, 3 beers worth finding this weekend at your local breweries.
For me, I would take Bite Dog again. Is doing Pride Week. I know, or Pride Month. I know a lot of breweries are like doing different stuff. They have a West Coast out right now that is phenomenal. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I think it is called True Being. And it's a West Coast IPA. It's 6.8. Very delicious. Really easy drinking. Perfect for the summertime. It is really, really hot out here where we are. And I would say that that's probably one of my favorite ones that's come out so far. I know that a lot of breweries locally are doing some stuff, but what do you have?
Well, I mean, on that same token, we've got Guys, Gals, and Non-Binary Pals from Urban Roots, also an IPA. We're checking out. It wasn't on my list, but since you brought it up, I'm like, yeah, that also. Honestly, we might have to do. I might do my whole. Okay, it's too much because a lot of stuff's going on. Oak Park Brewing is doing their Juneteenth collaboration with Hella Coastal, Full Circle, and Hunters Point. That's coming out on Saturday. They've got a whole Juneteenth festival going on with local Black creators and vendors. That'll be pretty cool. Log Off Brewing in Rancho Cordova's got their first anniversary with a bunch of collabs going on with like Moxa and Claim Steak and Crooked Lane and all kinds of good stuff going on there.
Oh yeah, their first anniversary, right?
Yeah, and their official opening, because they had to open during COVID. They're like, we haven't really had an opening, so they're kind of doing a combo on that. So, I mean, there's a lot going on this week in beer. I mean, these aren't even things I wrote down.
Things are great. We've got a lot to look forward to. So, yeah, man. And before my kids break down my door, Yeah, like get out and try all of those beers. Support. A lot of them are donating some of their proceeds to LBGT and Q communities. So definitely support that. We're all about supporting communities, helping everyone. We love everybody. Yeah, so get on it, guys, and watch these playoffs. They're really, really
so
good. And again, if you guys are listening and you guys want to call us out on your picks, like let us know.
Yeah, and if you want us to compare a player to a beer to a player, whatever, we'll do it. All that fun stuff. That's pretty much it for this episode. We'll be back whenever our schedules line up and one of us isn't sick as a dog or has obligations to a family.
Yes.
Or both. Sometimes
it's
both. We're very fun that way. Sometimes we're
is.
sick and have obligations. It's the best. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening. I've been one of your co-hosts, Ben Rice.
And I'm Phil Webster.
Reminding you to please dunk responsibly. We're out of practice.